I used to spend about 4 hours editing what took me to record only about 2 hours. And as a new audiobook narrator at the time, I was pretty much making below minimum wage because of the editing. It was just eating away my life. So I built an app that does most of the editing for me. Today, I'm going to show you how I did it, what problems it solves, and how you can try out the app for free. So let's paint the picture. You are an audiobook narrator. You love bringing stories to life. You love the craft of voice acting. But there's one thing that's slowly killing your passion, and that's editing. You record for about 2 hours. Maybe you're recording a romance novel or maybe a business book, a reference book or something like that. And then you're using the snap method. So each time you make a mistake, you snap or you clap or you use a dog clicker or whatever, and then you continue on. But then the editing comes into play. You sit down and you spend 4 or 5 hours editing your book, and it's grueling, it's time consuming, and it just takes forever. It seems like it takes forever at least. And then you wind up making about $20 an hour when you could be making about $50 an hour. I know this because this was my life for months. I started narrating audiobooks about 1.5 years ago as a side project. See, I have been a software developer for about 20 years, and so I wanted to try something different, something creative to kind of feed that right brain of me rather than my left brain always working. Now, I love the actual narration process, speaking, doing voices, but I quickly realized that being good at narration didn't mean I was good at editing, or even fast at editing. I'd finish a recording session, I'd feel great about it, and then I'd sit down and dread the editing phase. I tried all the tricks, all the plugins, the keyboard shortcuts, different software. Nothing really moved the needle in editing, and I figured out that this is what I needed to change to make more money in it. The breaking point came when I sat down and calculated my hourly rate, and it turned out to be less than $15 an hour. And for a somewhat skilled voice actor, that was pretty pitiful. So I tried to figure out what's going wrong. And the problem really wasn't my efficiency. It is that I was doing work that a computer could have been doing. You see, the snap method makes these perfect audio markers. Every mistake is followed by a sharp spike in the audio waveform. And it's very easy to see. So I started thinking, could I write a program that would detect these and segment out the sentences and phrases to where I could clean these up with ease? So with AI as my sidekick, I decided to do some research and then start building something. With my development background, I knew I could create a solution that actually worked for narrators. And the process I designed has 4 pretty simple steps. First step is you upload the audio. The second step is that you set a setting and let the program detect the snaps for you, and then you confirm all those snaps are correct. Now, the third step is kind of where a lot of the magic happens. Your audio is broken up based on the natural silence you have between phrases and sentences. Then each segment that has one of your confirmed snaps is automatically marked for removal. All you have to do is go in and quickly review all of those segments, make some adjustments, and then move on. Step 4 is where you can preview the final result and then download your edited audio. And instead of me just talking about it, why don't I show you how it works? So here I have an audio file that has quite a few snaps in it. As you can see, they go all the way up basically to 0 negative decibel levels. So I'm going to keep that in mind and make my setting just below 0. So first of all, in the AudioSnap Editor workstation, I'm going to upload a file. And it's just simple as dragging the file into the box, or you can click the button to upload it like old school uploading a file would go. Now, step 2 takes you to set your snap detection threshold, which is how loud your snaps are. I'm going to set mine to -1 decibels, and your settings are saved. So the next file you want to edit, this should be stored and you shouldn't have to change a thing. So I'm going to click Find Snaps, and the server is going to find those snaps for me. There we go. It found 10 snaps. So what I want to do now is detect which ones are not actually snaps. So I'm going to play the first one, or graduation. That one didn't have a snap. Let's listen to this one. But at some point, that one wasn't a snap. Now, after some time, when you get used to this, you can actually click the play all snaps in order and quickly review all of them at once. Here we go. Or graduation. But at some point, ship. So the last 8 snaps it got correct. So I'm going to mark the first 2, as you can see they're highlighted in pink, to remove those. So those aren't actually snaps. And then I'm going to click Done Reviewing Snaps. Now for the segments. Now you want to set your noise floor threshold. So if I go back to the audio file, I can zoom in and tell, let me zoom in, go to a blank spot in my audio, and then go and kind of zoom in to see what my noise floor is. And I want it to be about this height, maybe around the 60, -60 level. So that's going to be my noise floor. So you want to make sure you set your noise floor because any lower than -60, it might not detect the silence in between your phrases and sentences. So I'm going to keep this at -60. Silence detection gap, that's how long you want your silence to be. So if you normally talk pretty slow or narrate pretty slowly, you can set this a little higher. Actually, as I started using this tool, I started making my pauses a little longer. But for now, I'm going to set this to 300 milliseconds, which is 0.3 seconds, and then create the segments. So what this is doing is it's sending it to the server. It's creating the segments based on those gaps in the phrases and sentences and based on your settings. And then it's going to start cutting them back and then sending them back with the snap information and marking all the segments that have snaps automatically for removal. So you can see all the segments are in the scrollable area, and it scrolled right to my first segment with a snap, and I can listen to that. Whether you start travel is the phrase, and then I want to listen to the next one. But at some point, you'll want to make your own choices where you live, but at some point. So you notice this one starts with "but at some point." So I'm going to listen to the one before that. What career path you take? You'll want to make your own choices where you live, but at some point. There we go. So I traced it all the way back to there. So all these segments need to be removed. And then I started it over here. But at some point, you'll want to make your own choices. So what happened is that the detection that I put in, the 300 milliseconds, was a little short. So it detected gaps in this entire phrase. But that's okay. You can mark them for removal and move on. So here I go with the next one. If you don't have your own money, you have to rely on your parents, who might say no or go into debt. So what I've learned is that I could just listen to the start. If you don't have, and listen to the next segment. If you don't have your own money, it starts with the same words, so that's the one I want to replace, and then I move on. Here we go, segment 29. You end up taking, and the next one says you end up, so that's correct. It means you have enough. It means you have enough. It means you have enough, but this one had a snap as well, so I made 2 mistakes in a row. It means you have enough financial, and there's the correct one. It means you have enough. So I'm going to move on. Moving to a new city, you can say yes to new opportunity. You can say yes. So I need to go back and find you can say yes. You can say yes to. And there it is. So I'm going to mark that one for removal as well. And as you get used to this, you get faster and faster. And sometimes you start recording differently based on this tool. So I'm going to listen to the next 2. You can quit a job you hate. You can quit a job you hate. You can quit a job. You can quit a job you hate. This one appears to be nothing, so I'm going to mark it for removal. You can quit a job you hate. You can quit a job you hate. So there we go. I'm done reviewing the segments. Next, I can preview my audio. Now, the segment padding setting, all the segments that are removed need to be replaced with some sort of padding. Otherwise, you'll have the audio segments butted up to each other. So I'm going to add in that 300 milliseconds again. And then I'm going to preview the audio first. Most people don't have a real plan for their money. They just react to whatever's happening in the moment. They spend what they have, save when they feel like it, and hope things will magically work out. But hope isn't a plan. If you want financial freedom, you need clear goals and a strategy to get there. This chapter will help you define what financial independence means to you. All right, so you get the idea. So let me fix that. All right. And then once you approve that and listen to it all, you just click on finalize and download, and we'll open up in a new tab and then download the file. Now, this was a short file. The longer the file is, or the longer the audio is, the more time you actually save editing. So on these longer chapters that are 30 to 40 minutes, you're going to save a lot of time. And obviously I've been telling you and showing you how this works, so I didn't save a lot of time because I'm demoing it for you. But after a few times, this will save you a bunch of time. And the results really have been game-changing. I went from that under $15 an hour to up around $45 an hour for the same book. Plus, it's fun again. Recording is not so grueling because I know editing is going to be a lot easier. Now, keep in mind that this is only the first step in editing. Once you download your newly edited audio, you'll have to go back in and still clean it up a little. But all those segments with the snaps should be gone, and it makes it a lot faster. So now that you see how the audio snap editor works, you can see how it will save you a lot of time. Here's how the pricing works. When you sign up, you automatically get 30 credits for free to try it out. And that's about 30 minutes of audio, and this is after it's edited. Then, if you like it, you can join one of 3 different plans. The basic plan is $10 per month, and that includes 100 credits per month, and you can buy additional credits at only 10 cents per credit. And your unused credits always roll over to the next month. Now, the Pro plan is $20 a month, but you get 250 minutes, so it's a little extra. If you're a Pro user, you can purchase extra credits for only 8 cents per credit. And again, they still roll over, so what you don't use, you can use next month. And for you serious full-time narrators, I have a studio package that's $48 a month, and it gives you 800 credits at 6 cents per credit. And don't worry, if it's too many credits for one package, you can always downgrade to another. Or if you purchase a lower package and realize you need a higher one, then you can upgrade at any time. No big deal. Now, I have more plans for this app. I want to add in transcription so you can see the words for each segment that you are editing. And I even have some ideas for gap detection. When there's a long pause, you want to reduce that gap. What I don't know is how it's going to affect the costs on my end. So if you subscribe before I implement those and then I raise the price later on, those prices won't affect you if you're already subscribed. So get your subscription locked in before it changes. And please, let me know any feedback, anything that you'd like to add to this. We can all build this together. This thing was made for audiobook narrators and by an audiobook narrator. Look, I built this because I needed it. If you're spending way more time editing than you are narrating, try it out. The link should be in the description below. And here's the thing, if it saves you hours on your next project, then it probably already paid for itself. Try it out with those 30 free credits. See if it works for your workflow. If it doesn't, you lost nothing. If it does, you're going to start getting your life back. Let me know in the comments what your biggest frustration about editing is. Are you Team Snap or Team Punch and Roll? And if you try the Audio Snap editor, let me know how much time it saves you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.